Welcome to Food and Loathing, an inside look at the tastiest culinary news Las Vegas has to offer, brought to you by a pair of local food writers with the help of a very talented fast food addicted engineer. Those writers are me, Al Mancini, my co-host Samantha Gemini Stevens. Rich Johnson is in the producer's booth, and to paraphrase the band Temple of the Dog, we don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence.
Whoa.
Because that tends to be where you find the best bread.
I'm in.
The three of us get together in one form or another. Actually, that's a cool song for where we are today, by the way. Because the next line is, but I can't feed on the powerless when my cup's already overfilled.
Oh.
So it's very much, and
Nice
that I
catch.
feel is my life, where I very much go into the mouths of decadence.
I am not even kidding right now. I literally got the chills. That is so
Restaurants that
perfect.
are so over my head, and I steal their bread all
Right?
the time. But I do try to give something back
Yeah.
to people who are
and that's
less
like
powerless.
all of today's episode as we get into things a little bit later. Like that's, oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're getting into,
I'm
man.
loving it. I'm dancing in my chair now.
Where are we, darn it?
We're all three of us together once again here in Las Vegas, coming together at the Blooming Bistro, which is a very special restaurant that recently opened here in what I guess I'll call it the border between like Scotch 80s and the downtown medical district.
Yeah, it's
something
called
like
like the Rancho Medical District or something like that.
Okay.
It's a little offbeat
Yeah.
from, like it's behind Charleston area. But yeah, it's
It's
super
like a
easy to
little
find.
funky area,
Yeah.
like that always happens when you're
Yeah.
around a hospital and things like that, right?
Cool.
But then there are these billionaire houses like
Right,
right around
right
the
next
corner,
door.
you know. It's-
Until today, it was known in my head as the place with New York Bagel. And
There you go.
okay, well there you go.
I'll
There's
be
the
just passing that by now.
Oh, man. Anyway, the reason that we're here is that this is a restaurant that is a second chance for people trying to free themselves from the shackles of addiction. Shackles. God, I felt like I was in some
You
public
are.
service fucking announcement there.
Yeah.
I shouldn't write my own notes. And we're going to be speaking with the founder, Samantha Steele, as well as her brother, Mark Steele, of Restaurant Hospitality Institute. And I think one of their workers is going to come out and chat with us as well. We're going to get the lowdown on how they operate, how you can take advantage of their offerings, and how you can support their efforts.
Love that.
And as I said, part of a recurring theme this week, we've got a lot of stories about chefs, restaurateurs, and others giving back to their community. And that's going to include Monica Garcia of the Love Yourself Foundation, which supports mental health efforts in the food and beverage community. And we're going to have an update on the Chefs for Kids Gala that Gemini and I hosted last week. And I was
Yes.
sitting at the table with Mark Steele,
We
too,
were,
with that
yeah.
thing, which was great. But have no fear. There's also plenty of gluttony to discuss, including a sushi cutting competition at Morimoto's TV launch party, an all-star vegan feast at Resorts Worlds, and interviews with both Masaharu Morimoto and Tal Ronnen. And we have our happy hour report coming back, actually, which I'm excited about. And we're going to talk about the best Italian restaurant happy hours in Vegas.
Cool.
But y'all know we kick things off every week by talking about a few of our recent meals. We're going to try streamlining this section a bit, concentrating on only a few of the more interesting. We tend to go so fucking overboard
fair.
in this section.
That's fair.
Rich, we still love hearing you, but I'm no longer going to put you on the spot for a fried chicken review every fucking week, you know, man. But you jump in anytime, brother.
I'm going to jump in
love
right
you.
now because I'm
Jump.
back from Paris
Yes.
for a month
Jump.
with side trips to Cannes and Le Havre up on the North Coast and in London. And I brought gifts.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody wanted tin fish. Well, it's
Oh, my
glass
God.
fish.
This is
Glass fish,
amazing.
It's not
Yeah.
tin fish. Are you able to?
Yeah.
That's so funny,
Oh,
man.
I'm so excited. Thank
Yeah.
you.
This is from and there's another
The
hot sauce
homard.
there.
A
Oh,
curry
these are
goose.
great.
Yeah, there's
So
a little
goose fillets?
homard is lobster, isn't it?
Lobster. Goose
Yeah.
and lobster.
Cool.
Yeah, these are little
Okay.
jars. What are they, about 6-7 ounces?
Yeah, about 6
and
or
100
7 ounces.
Well, 1,000
Got
grams.
some foie
100
gras in
grams.
this little
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
So this is tinned foie gras.
Yeah.
Not
That's
tinned
cool.
fish. Tinned fatty duck liver. And
Yeah.
some kind of Tabasco
Yeah.
sauce with boxing gloves
I'll
on
leave
it.
that to you. I only bought 2, so you guys tell me if that's any good.
Absolutely.
We're giving it. You know you'll kill me with fucking spicy foods. Are you trying
Well,
to
would
kill
you
me?
like me to take it back? I can trade
No,
you.
we'll keep it, man. We'll keep it.
Well, one other thing for
I
you.
would die for you, Rich.
This is for Ziggy.
Ziggy.
Oh,
My,
yay.
doggy
Little
treat.
French dog treat.
French doggy
for Ziggy
treat.
Stardust.
I
All
bought
right.
a bunch. I'm the least charitable person here, but I was, walking around Paris, and there's a lot of homeless people here and there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them have dogs because Paris is just so full of dogs.
Okay.
So I bought a bunch of these things. These are little, like a little pepperoni.
Yeah.
And I was giving them to the dogs.
There you
To the
go.
homeless dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I also found the
You're like
greatest.
St. Francis of fucking Assisi walking around there, man. Europe, man.
I also want to share with you the greatest invention since the timer on crosswalks.
Oh?
Yes, this is an Evian bottle, but every soft drink bottle
I
had
think I
this
know where you're
deal.
going.
You unscrew the top, and
Yes!
it's got a little hinge,
Oh,
and
the
so
top
the
stays on it.
Yeah, the top stays on.
I first experienced that in Greece and Turkey last year.
Yes.
I
Why
loved
don't
it.
we? Every Coke Zero I had, and that's all.
I got to know how much money the guy who invented that made on the
Right?
patent rights in Europe.
yeah.
man.
Right?
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
at
I
first, the
smuggled
first time
that
I did
in.
it, I thought it was broken, and then I realized,
Yeah.
no, this is on purpose, and I love this.
Yes, same here.
Cool.
All right, that's it for me. I'll be over here taking a nap.
Okay, wait. No, best thing you ate in Paris. Best thing. And please, but
Yeah.
if it's a fucking Royale with cheese, I'm gonna kill you, man.
I went to the sea. I went to the north coast, up by Normandy, Le Havre, a town that was devastated by the war and all rebuilt since 1946. Big port, huge fishing village, maybe 1,000 personal sailboats there, and a rocky beach. And I had pig four-ways. It was called Parisian sauerkraut. It must have been a pint of sauerkraut in this thing, and on top of it were 4 different preparations of pig.
Yeah.
A frankfurter, a garlic sausage, ham, and something else I forgot.
Probably pulled or something.
It was so good, and it was in a place that dates back to the 1500s.
Oh, my gosh.
Certainly it was not the 1500 thing, because it
Yeah.
was rebuilt in the 50s, but oh my God, it was so good.
So
And then
Cochon
Yeah.
Quattro ways.
I like
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
speak
on
other
my
fucking
Facebook
languages,
page.
man.
Anyway,
I don't know.
That was the best meal around France, and I had that massive lobster platter, seafood platter I talked about last time.
Yeah.
That was in London.
Okay,
Yeah.
so James
yeah.
Trees, we await your review of what
Yes.
Rich ate in
Yes.
France this time. Now we're going to hear about what Gemini's been eating. Gemini, you been out and about?
I have been a little bit, yeah. So Friday, I flew back into town so we could do our event on Saturday, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I went by Bramare to pick up a donation for the event, which I thought was very generous. Had some late night bites. I've talked about the pork secreto before, but something I hadn't had yet was the Wagyu meatballs, and those were really good. The sauce was spicy. It was a little meaty on its own. It had good cheese and like this cream cheese sauce on it, almost like a bechamel, but it had a little more texture to it, and just super simple and delicious. So thank you to the guys over there for that. Saturday morning, we woke up super early, and we haven't done this in a long time. It was like 6:45 in the morning. We were sitting in our seats between 7 and 7:30 a.m. excuse me, at the Oyster Bar at Palace Station, having oysters and pan roast for breakfast.
How's the line at 7 a.m. at that joint?
Hardly anything. We were the only
Really?
two that had to wait
Awesome.
for a seat at first, and then it sort of cleared out, and people could just come and wave to the guy and then seat. But by the time we were leaving around 8:30, call it, there was people getting around the corner.
For those who ain't familiar with it, the Oyster Bar at Palace Station's open 24 hours.
Yep.
I think there's about a dozen-ish seats, and that's
Give or
it.
take.
And a lot of tourists, it's the first thing they want to do when they get to Las Vegas. They've been doing it every time
Yep.
they've come here for a million years, and it is packed around the fucking
Yeah.
clock. Waiting online is just part of the fun there. When you do have to
It
wait
really
online,
is.
you get to meet new people. You get to do all that. If you don't like new people, well, maybe not the place for you. But yeah, so awesome.
Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome
really
you got
cool.
in there.
Really loved it. And there were some locals that had been playing all night that came in to pick up their breakfast. People already knew what their orders were, so they just sat down and said, "Oh, I'll put your order in," and they got it to go. Just super amazing way to spend part of your Saturday morning.
As a glass half empty kind of guy, I'll bet they put the tightest slot machines there and the line waiting, because
Right?
what else you got to do?
Yeah. So we had a half a dozen of the Pacific Northwest oysters. They're smaller. They're a little bit in looks like the Kamamoto oysters, those really nice, fat, juicy ones in Japanese restaurants.
I feel like West Coast oysters are usually smaller and closer
Yeah.
to like Kushi or a
Yeah.
Kumamoto.
So these were a little bit thinner, but they still reminded me a lot of it. But they were a little bit brinier. Then we had a half a dozen of Louisiana Gulf Coast oysters, and those were huge.
Those are the big fatties,
Oh my
man.
God, they were amazing. And I did find them sweeter. Really, really enjoyed that. And then we got the combo pan roast, which is shrimp, lobster, crab. We got a spicy on the 6 out of 10, and then we added chopped clams because I'm a huge fan of chopped clams. great addition. I had leftovers to take home, and so I ate that over the weekend, and it just made it more of a stew when you reheat it. Loved it. Saturday we did the gala, which we can talk about when we get through your stuff. And then Sunday, of all places, I went to a Denny's.
Moons over my hammy?
I didn't, because that was a lot of bread for me, but I did get...
I have no idea. I've seen it in a fucking commercial.
It's still there.
I haven't been to a Denny's in about 150 years.
My friend, well, we were helping out my friend's mom, and she really likes Denny's, so we were happy to oblige her. No problem.
Was she stoned?
No.
That's usually what gets me into a Denny's.
But I did have a chicken fried steak, and it was actually pretty good. I got to give them credit. So, and then Monday, I had breakfast again. We went to Cracked Egg on South Rainbow.
So you're an early riser this week.
I have been, which is not my gig,
Is this
man.
part of all the jet lag that's going on in your head?
Probably.
Or? Yeah.
My suitcase is just behind this wall. I'm leaving when we're done.
I'm surprised you don't have a suitcase permanently attached to you, man.
But I went to the Cracked Egg on South Rainbow after an appointment. They're all pretty much the same, and there's a few of them around town, so just look for one. Huge portions, good food. Again, I tried the chicken fried steak. They'll add green chilies if you're so inclined. They have a lot of stuff to choose from. The service was really good too, so just kudos to them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what have I done?
What
not
have
a lot
you?
for me this week. Media meal at Borracha in Green Valley Ranch. That's Click Hospitality's Mexican restaurant over there. I think they were really just trying to remind us about the place heading into Cinco de Mayo, which makes sense. I'm writing about Cinco de Mayo today, so it's top of mind.
Yeah.
Most of us were working on some kind of story. So, I did chips with salsa and guac. I did some spicy shrimp tacos. I did some taquitos, some enchiladas, some quesabirria. Only thing I didn't love was the fish tacos. Everything else really good. The elote, very, very good. So this joint's a bit less clubby than, say, Miho or Amaya, which are Click Hospitality's other two Mexican restaurants. I just feel as if this one's a bit more restaurant-y, a bit less clubby. Now, you could see the casino floor from it. It's high energy. I believe Golden Knights' last regular season game was on. We were watching that, even though it didn't matter. So, it's a fun place to go and hang out. So thanks to my friends at Borracha. Sue and I had a lunch at Panino on Decatur and Sunset.
I saw your post. Tell me more about that one.
It's an interesting one, man. This is run by a cap named Gustavo Zucchiata. He's an Argentinian with Italian roots.
Wow.
Moved to the U.S. in the early 2000s. He's supposedly been serving not supposedly, I believe him if he says it, but serving the food industry in California and Vegas since 2017. Known for gelato kiosks and carts, as well as something called Tup sandwiches, which I'm not familiar with, but if any of you fuckers out there know what it is, then here's your guy. Go back and check him out. I love the vibe of this place. It's tiny. It's in a strip mall. Driving sucks there. It's on the corner of Sunset and Decatur.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But Sue works right down the street there, so it's totally worth it for me to go there.
Yeah.
I like it because when you walk into an Italian deli, it has a certain smell to it. It's different than a Jewish deli smell. It's different than just a deli smell. And this had that, right? And I loved it. Had all the Italian groceries lining the walls. You know what those joints are like. A really diverse menu, hot subs, cold subs, pastas, a little bit of everything. We only tried two sandwiches. I loved them both, but I have a complaint about one, even though I fucking loved it. And, so Sue did a meatball sandwich.
Okay.
Meatball sub. A hot meatball sub, fantastic. The meatballs were good. They sliced them down, which I actually like on a sandwich, so it's not...
Yeah, because it's hard to manage otherwise.
Meatballs on a roll don't generally work, and one falls on the floor, and then I get mad. So I love their meatball sandwich that Sue got. It was really good. I ordered something called chimichurri steak.
Okay.
Again, this guy's Argentinian, so I figure they're going to do some solid. So it's got the beef, it's got roasted bell peppers, it's got melted cheese, it's got lettuce, tomato, what they call a homemade chimichurri sauce.
Okay.
All of it good, even the homemade chimichurri sauce.
Okay.
But the homemade chimichurri sauce was not chimichurri.
Oh.
It was a sauce. It was a white sauce with the flavors of chimichurri. And I'm a guy that doesn't generally put mayo or even aiolis on my food.
Sure.
It's not my thing.
Yeah.
And so this was a good fucking sauce. And honestly, if they had told me what it was, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Right.
So I'm sort of glad I did, but little bit of deceitful advertising there.
Yeah, when you think of chimichurri, the first thing is not a creamy sauce.
No, you want like an oil-based, spicy. Yeah, man. So anyway, great place though. Go check it out, especially if you love a good Italian deli. Panino, again, is the name of the joint. Thursday, Chef Tal Ronnen hosted a collaborative vegan dinner at Crossroads Kitchen in Resorts World with his friends, Chef Michael Voltaggio and Chef Rocco DeSpirito. I was not able to attend, but I did swing by the restaurant a few hours before the event to speak to the most famous vegan chef in Las Vegas, Crossroads Kitchen's Tal Ronnen. I think the other guys were out at the pool. They had just finished their prep, and they were all out chilling Vegas style.
Good.
So, but Tal is always fantastic, always takes some time to sit down with me. We spent a few minutes together, and I began by asking how the chefs feel about collaborative dinners like this and what inspires them to do things like this.
I think a lot of people come at it from different perspectives. For us here at Crossroads, it's really for fun. It's to highlight another chef's cuisine with our ingredients. And it's usually friends, so it's a good time, you know. Tonight we have Michael Voltaggio from LA. Rocco's coming from New York. And it's going to be awesome. It's a really tight 5-course menu, all Italian. We collaborated on literally every course together. You know, today you can do things over FaceTime and Zooms, and it's really fun.
You know, Chef Voltaggio, Chef DeSpirito, fantastic chefs. I assume that they're pretty well versed in just about any type of cooking. I mean, I've met them both. They're unbelievable. But when they come in to do a vegan meal with you, how much do they rely on you to kind of steer them in a direction?
So Michael's done a bunch of these with me. When he had Ink, he was actually 3 doors down from us on Melrose. So we had a great, not only a great friendship outside of work, but if we needed ticket paper, one of his runners would run it 3 blocks over to us. If he needed a high chair, one of our runners would run it to him. And it was just an awesome time. This was like 12 years ago, 10 years ago. So he actually wrote the foreword to my cookbook. So he's very versed in what I do. And our approach is similar. He likes to recreate classics in a modernist way. And I like to recreate classics in a plant-based way. Mm-hmm. So our approach is very similar. Rocco's the OG. Like, I've been such a fan for so long. When I was still living in New York, he was the man. Everyone wanted an externship at his restaurant. And first time we saw one of our own, like on TV, and like before all the Food Network stars, you know, there was Rocco. Yeah. And he's also had a health journey, sort of cooking healthy journey the past 10 years as well. So he's actually very familiar. Like, I was so surprised he knew about Kite Hill, which is my company that makes almond yogurt and sour cream. And he uses a lot of those techniques because he wants to cook healthy anyhow. So it came together super easy on this one.
So given the success of this, do you plan to do more collaborations here at Crossroads?
I think so. It's, you know, it's tough. They work when they work naturally. When folks, you know, in this industry are willing to do something like this, you jump on it because these guys are so busy. Michael and Rocco have so many projects. Every week they're on a flight, literally. So it's really nice that it worked out, and we'll definitely try and do another one soon.
Cool. Anything else that I should know about? Anything else coming to Crossroads here in Resorts World, or anything else for you that's on the horizon?
We just rolled out our 13th spring menu last week. So anyone who comes in this week and for the next 3 months will get to try some really cool, innovative dishes that just focus on the best produce that spring has to offer.
So sadly, or I don't know, sadly, there's just 2 great things to do at the same time, right? But I had to skip that dinner. Sounds amazing, though. I wish I could have had it.
I looked at it and thought about coming in early just for it, but I couldn't make the schedule work.
Well, I had to make it over to MGM Grand for a big party at Morimoto.
Yeah.
The chef himself, I want to call him the Iron Chef himself because he is, but he wasn't there to promote Iron Chef. He was there to promote a different TV series. in town to celebrate the launch of Sushi Masters Season 2 on the Roku network. He threw a hell of an event. By the way, I watched 2 or 3 episodes of this thing. It's pretty cool.
Do you have to have a Roku, or can you just go to the Roku channel that some of the apps have?
You know, that was a question that I asked them, and I don't think they got back to me with
All
the
right,
answer
I'll find
before
out.
today. So
I'll find out.
I do not know. But check it out. The show. Okay, so the party was cool. I got to speak to Iron Chef Morimoto.
Love it.
I always love that. Took time to speak to a few people, connected with a lot of friends of ours. Then we went into the back for the big event.
Yeah.
The big event, I've got to tell you, this is really genius marketing, I would think, because they took like 3 of the biggest influencers in Vegas, and they gave each of them a cooking station, and they asked them to recreate the first challenge from the first episode.
Oh, cool.
Which was that Morimoto broke down a bluefin and gave them all like a fifth of the thing, and then said, now you break it down further into a box that you could give a sushi restaurant.
Oh, my God.
So who'd I see? I saw JT from JT Takes a Bite. He was doing it. Two women were also doing it. And, I got to say, super smart idea because they're all broadcasting it on social media. I'm sure they got 1 billion fucking views. But it sort of did suck the life out of the party a little bit because there were just all these different stations, right? And then the food was in another section. But saw a lot of my good friends there, had a lot of good food. I mean, you walk around. Of course, I went over. I watched them cut their food. I was a nice audience member, but then the food was in the back. So I went and ate food because you're there and you want to eat Morimoto food. I mean, let's be fucking honest. Morimoto is a lot like Nobu in my eyes, that you have to go back there every once in a while to remind yourself how good the real originators are because they've been so ripped off by other people. Yeah. So I did some spicy chicken meatballs, some fried chicken skewers. I did an egg. Actually, I didn't do it. I don't like egg salad. The mayo thing again. Sue did an egg salad sandwich with caviar.
Oh, hell yes.
Did some tuna hand rolls. Some yakitori was out there, and it was absolutely fantastic. As I said, I got about 10 minutes with Chef Masaharu Morimoto, and here's a nice big chunk of that conversation. We begin with me congratulating him on Season 1, which was the top streaming show on Roku.
Wow.
And I asked him how, after all these years of doing food TV, it feels to premiere Season 2 of a show with his name right in the credits.
Actually, I don't even thinking about it. Okay, I'm doing this business since when I was 18, which is 52 years ago. Right? And then I jump in this industry I never seen. Even I have my own restaurants. I never seen like I come into the United States. And then so I became the Iron Chef, and then still, I cannot imagine anything. I don't believe this guy. In my own show, my name on it, it's very proud, and then so I was so nervous. People watching my show, people agree this, whatever. But I'm very happy with Season 2. Season 2 is more confident.
Yeah.
To do this more than Season 1 because more future to the more sushi Japanese own technique I have. Yeah. So I didn't have my own idea. I didn't do much in Season 1, but still it was great. It's great. Yes.
Obviously, you've been doing this, as you said, for so many years. These types of shows. When Iron Chef first came on, it was very unique, right? Nobody did that. And now it's become an entire format. Everybody does shows like that, including this wonderful show that you have right now. Did you ever imagine doing a show like Iron Chef, that it would almost transform television? It would become a new genre of television.
But I'm inside, but I don't know what's going on. But a lot of people say, I watching your cooking show, the Iron Chef, since I was little. They may be 30 years old. That's why I'm getting old. So I feel a little bit like nostalgia, and then getting tired of things, and then proud, and then nervous, and stress. I remember in and out. Now Roku channel serving the Iron Chef. Mm-hmm. So from I don't know, maybe Netflix or a cooking channel or Food Network, whatever. You know what I mean? Then sometimes I watch it. When I during that time, I never watch it. Right. I never watch because of a lot of stress and pressure. I know I won or lost, but I didn't know what the challenger made it. I never seen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I watch. Oh, really? Oh, I remember this. I made this, my this. And then, oh, Challenger made this. Oh, I want, huh? Something like this.
How much has the art of sushi in the United States changed over the last 20 years? And how much do these young contestants, do they know more than what they would have known coming into a show 20 years ago?
I don't think there's not much changing from us. So as the chef of the point, daily basis, every day, what, how to say, learning, study, and teaching, whatever we do improve, right? And then audience, it's improve.
Yeah.
Because you can, as you are the influencer, you have the full knowledge, and you spread it out to your channels, your SNS, and then you can put something or what's going on from Israel, what's going on from South Africa. You can do anything, and what's going on in Shinjuku, what's going on in Ginza, what's going on in Tokyo, whatever. So audience can change a lot, but for us, it's maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, same speed.
Yeah.
From 100 years ago, I think.
Also this weekend, you mentioned it,
Yeah.
Chefs for Kids Benefit. And you and I were up on stage introducing people, talking about auction items, dressed like we're in the Wizard of Oz. And we had a good old time, man. And I think you raised a butt ton of money for Chefs for Kids, right?
Yeah, I don't have a number yet. It's still a little bit early, but as soon as we get that, we do want to kind of shout that out because we did have fewer guests this year, but we had some really engaged guests this year.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to see everybody. There was a pink cocktail and a green cocktail, and people were dressed to the nines with costumes or just the color.
Did I make it work? Because I know you wanted to see me in a pink tutu or something,
I
and I
did want
didn't
to
do
see
that.
you in the pink Galinda dress.
But the black tux with the green
dude,
velvet jacket.
that jacket and those shiny shoes, and even now with your green
bright green hair, yeah.
You had it. That was like the flyest, and I know I can't get away with saying it like that I've ever seen you, and I'm so happy when you walk through the door.
All the kids say, pretty fly for a white guy. And you look fantastic
shout
as well.
out to your wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sue was looking gorgeous, and the dress that she was wearing reminded me of her wedding gown in black.
Yeah,
right?
it was so
just
shiny
so cool.
and beautiful, and every time she moved, it was just perfect.
And you looked lovely as
Thank
well. You were
you.
in green with me,
Yeah.
paying a little tribute to the Emerald City,
Yeah.
and you were looking fantastic. So that was a really fun event. Shout out to the South Point Hotel catering and banquet staff. They did a great meal. They really went a little above and beyond what you expect from banquet food. I will tell you, that quail egg in the soup, I burned my fucking tongue on it. I still can feel it.
But that consomme was so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the steak and the salmon and the salad even had croutons shaped
crouton was
like
shaped
things
like a
out of the
witch's
movie.
hat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
There was and the dessert plate. I mean, everything was just gorgeous.
It was fucking cool, but you can't eat it. We did. Ha ha. Go donate money for Chefs for Kids.
Yes, you can always donate money to Chefs for Kids.
That's about all I got for this week.
All right. Well, coming up in the news, Al speaks to the Love Yourself Foundation's Monica Garcia about their mission to offer mental health services to people in the hospitality and entertainment industries, as well as an upcoming event she's planning where she could use some help. But first, we'll be joined by Samantha Steele, Mark Steele, and another representative of the Blooming Bistro, and perhaps sample some of their food. This is Food and Loathing.
And joining us for this section, as promised, we have Samantha Steele and Mark Steele. We're going to have one more employee of the Blooming Bistro coming and joining us momentarily. But for now, we got Samantha and Mark. Guys, thanks for having us.
Wow, no, thank you so much.
Appreciate you hosting us. You brought some food to the table with you.
Right away, this is how we roll. Come on in.
That's the way I love it, man. I'm going to take some. Tell everybody what we got going on over here.
All right, so we're going to bring out 4 dishes today. The first one we have here is our Mediterranean salad. The centerpiece in there is a house-made red pepper hummus.
That is
it's in
so
my mouth
good.
right
And
now.
it's delicious, right? Did you just say you don't want any?
No, I'm just, I'm saying it's really good.
I believe
no, it's awesome.
Gemini had this whenever she
I
came to
did.
visit us
The first
already,
time
and I
I
know
met
she
you.
loved it. I was watching her go,
Oh, yeah. I was
the whole
taking a
time.
fork straight to it without the pita bread.
And that's going to have all kinds of things on there. Obviously, it's on top of a bed of mixed greens, but we have some cucumbers, some tomatoes, some Kalamata olives, and red pickled onions, and with some grilled pita bread.
Damn.
It's so fresh. I
So
mean,
good,
yes.
man.
oh my God.
So as we start digging into this, and more food's going to be on its way, but let's chat with you guys about how and why you created the Blooming Bistro. And one thing we touched on before that is you guys come from a serious hospitality family. Could somebody give our audience the short version of your family's history here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, for sure. So I won't age myself exactly, but
Like
but
fine wine.
Yeah, I've been here for 50 years, and that's basically when my parents moved here. So we'll just say the early mid 70s. They were both in the restaurant business. My father was actually a butler for the Kennedys at one point.
Oh, wow.
And that's how
I bet he saw some shit.
he saw some stories. Yes, he always likes to tell us our stories. We just had dinner just the other night at our house because it was just his birthday recently and our anniversary with my lovely wife Kara. And so long and short, he was a food server and captain at the Palace Court over at Caesar's Palace.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's gone through a bunch of different restaurants in the meantime, but that was really the place to be. He was a captain over there where he really took care of the celebrities. He was actually, whenever Frank Sinatra came in, Frank Sinatra actually always asked for the Englishman because my dad is English and he wanted him to take care of him. So, and back in the day also the shows weren't as early as they are now. They went on at midnight, at 11 o'clock. So after he was done having dinner and hanging out in the restaurant, my dad would be the server for the entire night and would go and bring the cases of Jack Daniels to my dad. To the Frank
Sinatra, yeah.
So behind the scenes. So
Can't believe Sinatra didn't drink anything better than plain old Jack
Right?
Daniels, man.
there's a much longer story behind that, but yes, he enjoyed that and that's what he liked. So, but then my dad and my mother decided to open a restaurant actually inside the same shopping center that we're in right now, called the Aristocrat. And just to date it a little bit more, that the original first Las Vegas Best of Review journal poll that came out, that the restaurant was named Best Restaurant in Las Vegas.
My God.
It wasn't like today where there's 70 different categories and an editor's pick and a voting pick and all that. There was one best restaurant, and it was
And
my
that
parents'
was it.
restaurant.
And
the
back
Aristocrat.
then, people actually had to
Mail
cut
it in.
out and mail it
Yeah.
in, and it wasn't like sending it to all your
they didn't
employees
have
and
PR
say, vote,
firms
vote, vote.
that
No.
just got all their
Blasting
interns
it
to do that
everywhere.
shit.
Facebook,
And Olive
no.
Garden didn't get the most votes.
Oh my God. Seriously.
Okay, so you were raised in hospitality, both of you. Mark, we know that you went into hospitality as a career. You run the Restaurant Hospitality Institute. You educate people on service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Samantha, what is your background? Did you do any hospitality work?
I have done hospitality work. Mark laughs because I'm going to get into me being fired by Mark several different times, and my father. But my first hospitality job, outside of doing touch-ups, pouring water, bringing bread at the Aristocrat
Our
after
parents
school.
definitely utilize us for the full ability. We won't get the labor laws and talk about child labor laws. Huh?
So was at Spanish Trail Country Club that my parents actually were asked to come and open the country club, and that's why they sold the Aristocrat. But my first job was inside the grill room there, and I remember I had to wear a bow tie and a black vest, and I knew a lot of kids there that lived in the country club, and I would hide in the kitchen and be so scared someone was going to see me in this outfit, right? So hospitality has been a part of my life. It's always what I've fallen back on until I got into nonprofit social service work, which is, I was working at Cabo Wabo under Mark, that Mark opened, and I was caught drinking on the job by Mark, probably again. And, I was used as an example, and I should have been. And I remember I was mortified and ran into the freezer and stayed in there because I knew as soon as I came out that it was going to be the end for me there, right? But that end actually ended leading me to my first nonprofit job here in Las Vegas, which was 18 years ago at the Blind Center of Nevada. So that's where it all began.
Cool.
But I always will say that, not always, but I like to let people know that, I've lost close to 50 jobs in hospitality before. And a small part of why restaurant experience is so important is because you always have something to fall back on to, right? I've been fired from my dad when he owned a restaurant in Carmel. I was fired from him 3 times at that restaurant, and it started as hostess. Then I was doing some service work on the floor, and I was fired, and then I was a dishwasher. That was what he allowed me to come in and do, and then he found a bottle of wine behind the dishwasher, and I was fired from that too, right? But those are all prior to my recovery days, so.
Although, let's be honest, I mean, you ain't the only one in a restaurant who is imbibing in a restaurant. I mean, it's a tough field for people, you know, to kind of fall into those bad habits, which is why I'm so intrigued by your decision to use the restaurant industry to help people who have already fallen into those bad habits and are now in recovery from that. I'm going to ask you about that, but the food that was just placed in front of me sounds so fucking good, man. What are we looking at as I take a bite?
So this is a big portion of our menu, literally about a quarter of the menu to a third of it. We call it crave-worthy plates, and this is the vegan root cause plate, which root cause, Samantha, do you want to kind of touch on what that terminology is?
A root cause is a statement from the big books of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So it all ties into the root cause. Root vegetables, root cause. So just a familiar statement, like there are very many, one day at a time, and other things that come across through AA lingo.
Nobody could ever use too much garlic for me. No. And you guys are pushing that, but I love it, man.
I love it so much.
It's fucking awesome. And these are what, tortellini, right?
Those are not house-made, spinach tortellini, and, you know, all the vegetables that are on there, beets, celery root, onions, parsnips, green beans.
All the things I love so much.
All the
that
things
beautiful spinach. Oh, my God.
So, Samantha, talk to us a bit about your journey from being fired by your own family for drinking on the job repeatedly, through recovery, to the seed for using the restaurant industry to help people in recovery.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And really, you know, thank you for being here today, and thank you for bringing attention to what the mission is here, because a big purpose of why this exists is to bring awareness and to help prevention and mostly lift stigma, right? Not mostly, they all go hand in hand.
And, I mean, because this is good food.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd travel all the way from my house just for the food, but given the cause and that, then I would certainly travel all the way from my house. So it's important we get that message out there.
I appreciate that. We like to say, you know, come feed the body and nourish your soul, right? Because by eating and participating and being a part of what we're doing here is helping us uplift the young adults and keep them employed as well, right? So you are not only getting some yummy, delicious, clean food, but it's a win-win for everybody. You're uplifting the young adults and letting them do their training, and then, you know, helping them keep employed too, right?
So how'd the idea strike you? When did it hit you?
So I was working under a state program that involved recovery, bringing recovery alive into workplaces, and really mostly bringing supports and resources so human resources could better be equipped to manage any of these situations, right? Because there's so much shame attached to it all. And we really need to get out of the shame that's attached to it and really be in the solution to it all, right? And we can't get out of the shame until we have understanding. You know, this is not a choice that people are in, you know, this is it's an actual disorder, right? There's alcohol and substance use disorder is what it's categorized as, and so
it needs to be treated as a public health issue, not a morality issue.
Yes,
I will admit my own abuse of certain things was oftentimes a morality issue, but for the overwhelming majority of people, this is a public health issue. This is something that you're coping with, and it needs to be treated the same way as if somebody gets a potentially deadly disease, because it is a potentially deadly disease.
Thank you for sharing that message. And so, you know, through working with that, I just started to, it just came to me, right? Like here we have my brother, my dad, you know, my whole family, my mom and my sister as well. At this point, we've got these incredible hospitality expertise that are like no other in this city, and especially with the work that my brother does through Restaurant Hospitality Institute at this time. And then I throw in my nonprofit experience. So as I mentioned, I'm going on 18 years, but it's program development and basically, you know, bringing holistic wellness honest to whatever demographic that nonprofit is serving, right? So
how do you find people? I mean, you know, I don't know. You don't put up a sign that says recovering addicts welcome, right? I mean, how do you source the team, the staff for this, so that you are getting people that will benefit from it?
So it's part of uplifting the entire program together. We started with some partnerships in the community, and those are growing every day. But we started with Mission High Recovery, which is the only recovery high school here in Las Vegas.
Your employee mentioned that at the ribbon cutting. I see her over there right now, actually. Scarlett, hi, Scarlett. But I had no idea there was a recovery-focused high school in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and it's by choice only. You cannot be forced to go there because you got caught drinking or using or smoking pot, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because that would be a bad influence on everybody else who's trying to get their shit together.
Right.
Trust me.
So it's by choice, and all those young adults, I say they're just so very brave, right? Like, I started drinking and using at age 15, and I did not find my way to recovery until I was 40, right? I don't think that I would have wanted to have anything to do with a recovery high school. I would be like, no thank you, right? Like, that's so uncool. But they are all the coolest and the bravest and most outstanding young adults ever. Like,
so can you tell me a little bit about what kind of like jobs are available, or the training program? Is there a timeline? Does everybody go through the same thing, or are there focus areas?
So finishing up on the referral, so Mission High, and then we also partner with some homeless organizations or youth organizations, and then also like St. Jude's Ranch with Children we're meeting with next Friday,
cool.
right? So we're really, and then some recovery homes, and we're really branching out, and we're taking in everyone we possibly can.
That's amazing.
Withhold. And back now to your question, which segues into, you see the space, Scarlett. You see the space, right? So it was designed to be able to easily manage, right? We do counter service, but we can only hold X amount of people in here, and we want to be very hands-on with the training. And so we usually say it's about a 4 to 8 month process. And that just is all circumstantial, right? We're really trying to push it out as much as we can, because you have to think these young adults have zero experience. We also work with adults who may have no experience in what they're doing as well. And so when we're partnering with other restaurants, hello to any restaurants out there, hotel, casinos, we're looking for partnerships. And it can be any business, really, right? Like, that we can uplift our youth into sustainable employee and lives, but we want to make sure that they're comfortable, confident, polished in all the areas of soft, hard, social, emotional. They're grounded, right? We want, and you talk about like the restaurant business being a kind of a shady place for a lot of this, right? But this is a safe space for all of our individuals that work here to build that strong foundation in their lives for them to grow upon, right?
The restaurant industry is very strange. I've never really seriously in any way worked in it, but I've spoken to a lot of people about the recovery process, about the temptations of the industry. And it seems to be a thing that, while it does have its temptations and that people do kind of fall by the wayside at times, it's an industry that's always there to take you back. Like, if you get your shit together and you can go into work, you can find a restaurant job.
I definitely have. I lived in Santa Cruz at some point in time, and I worked at one place there. I won't mention the name, and they actually, basically fired me 12 times, right? But then the 13th was definitely an unlucky number 13. At that time, right?
So tell us who's joining us right now at this table.
This is the lovely shining star, Scarlett. Scarlett has been side by side with the Blooming Bistro. We've been really trying to get this uplifted for some time, built out, city permits, blah, blah, blah. We've had wonderful support from the city, state, and the whole entire community. But Scarlett has stood by our side, I could almost almost cry starting to talk about it, because that really just shows the commitment, right? And who she is as a person. Like, she heard, Scarlett heard about the Blooming Bistro. I was at Mission talking about it a year and a half ago. And, you know, there was a lot of things that Scarlett had to stay accountable to, like through Employee NB Youth Hub and through some other partnerships that we have to be able to stay employed here.
Yeah.
And when you look at somebody who stays on top of that kind of thing, and you were 16 at the time? 17 at the time. It's like, I couldn't have been that reasonable at 17, you know? But so Scarlett is our shining star, one of our shining stars here at the Bistro. So I'll let her take it.
Yeah, Scarlett, how'd you find out about this program and what attracted you to it?
So I go to Mission High School, the recovery high school, and Sam and Employee MV came down one day and was like, we're opening this restaurant and we want you guys to work there, like specifically, like the first picks kind of, because it's recovery based, and so a couple of us jumped on it because it's like a really big thing for us, is like staying involved in recovery, and it's like a good opportunity, especially in the workplace, because that doesn't happen anywhere else. But they came in and I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then I just started doing like the interview process for Employee MV and started like just getting involved and just staying like connected for like the little while that it took to get started.
Were you in a position where you were looking for a job?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you needed work, and you needed also I would assume having people who are understanding of what recovery is all about was appealing. Right?
Yeah, it definitely was, because, I mean, where else are you going to work where it's like your boss, you can talk to your boss about an AA meeting. Like, it's just not really, like, that common. So I thought it was really dope.
Cool. Had you ever worked in a restaurant before?
No, this is my first job.
First job?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
So
now we're going to put her on the spot and make her tell us what was just delivered to our table. Scarlett, could you please describe this dish for us?
The Scotch 80s were, yeah.
That's okay. Sam, could you describe this dish for us?
Well, I'd love to hear Scarlett describe
Okay,
that
okay.
dish for us. Scarlett knows what she's doing.
This is one of our
Yeah, thank
vegetables.
I felt like I put her on the spot there.
You did,
It was
you
uncool.
did.
I was like, wait. The Scotch 80s, it's one of our bistro bowls, and it has our sauteed mushrooms, our cabbage, our green onion with our roasted pineapple, our roasted carrot, ginger, garlic, and our teriyaki glaze. It's actually pretty popular. I think it's really
That's
good.
also very good.
It is, and I named the Scotch 80s Bowl because there's a lot of affluent neighborhoods, old school neighborhoods around Las Vegas, right? Where a lot of the kids, I'm born and raised, a lot of the kids that I was born and raised with all live around here, you know, and some sadly are no longer with us to, you know, substance use or accidental overdoses. However, the Scotch 80s is a very special neighborhood where a close family friend have house. And so, you know, my mom says, well, how come you didn't put the McNeil Estates on the menu? And I'm like, well, you know, like it's the Scotch 80s that I've got the connection to.
Yes.
So,
So, Scarlett, may I ask you, when you come in, I sort of asked this of Sam, but I'd love to hear your experience. Do you come in and start with one job and move to the next and move to the next? Do you focus on one thing in particular? How has it been for you?
Like, in a whole, like, when I come in, like what do we do specifically while
What's
we're
your
working
day like,
here?
basically, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
like how when you first get in the program, do you have like one job that you focus on for a while and then move to like another station or another part of the restaurant? Do you just do all of it at the same time and learn as you go?
So the program overall.
Yeah, the program overall.
So right now, I'm kind of being taught like a lot of like assistant manager things. Like
Great.
I've started doing like inventory and like things along those lines. So it's not just like one thing like, oh, I'm only working like the cash register.
Yeah.
She started teaching me like the proper way to serve people and like kind of like just the basics of like the front of house of the restaurant. We don't do any like cooking. Like I'm not back there cooking. But like pretty much like anything to do with the front of the house, like I'm getting taught.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you went to Mark's class first,
Yeah,
correct?
I did RHI training.
Yeah, RHI.
Yeah.
So how was that?
That was good. It was kind of fun because we call him Gordon Ramsay now, but
Okay, I'll
of
remember that.
hospitality.
yeah, I learned a lot.
Did he throw
though.
plates at you
No,
or anything?
no,
well
it
then
was
he
just
ain't no
funny.
Ramsay.
It was good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and so what is your goal from here? I know you've been here for a while, and maybe you might be slightly different than some of the students in the program. Maybe you want to stay here longer, but is your goal to move out there and move on to other restaurants?
My goal right now is to get into the marketing factor with it because that wasn't always my thing. But when I started here, I started doing that for Sam, like with the flyers and like going around and like talking about this place to people, and I kind of really like that. And so I'm going to UNLV in the fall for like business and marketing
Good
and
for
doing
you.
all that. So I want to eventually like go into a bigger career with that.
Very cool, very cool.
Now, related to that, sorry, one quick question. So you mentioned earlier, Sam, about partnerships and working with other restaurants and casinos and things like that and other businesses. Is there job placement when they go through part of the program?
So yes, we will eventually, with these partners, have them come in here, start connecting with our young adults. My goal and dream is to, get some partnerships on board, and that we'll have like an almost mini job fair in
That's
here,
great.
right? And when Scarlett talks about the marketing, one of our board members, somebody that I grew up with here in Las Vegas, her name is Robin Piat. She was vice president of marketing for Planet Hollywood, and she's in another position now doing marketing, of course, but she's wanting to take Scarlett under her wing, and I'm just hoping we really find a lot of different people when we get the interest specific of the young adults, and Scarlett will end up at UNLV, but she can work in a restaurant and make good money while she's putting herself through school, right? So that's going to be the ultimate goal, whether it's a trade school, whether it's continuous education, whether it's something in the hospitality field, which could be anything, right, in this town
There's a lot
or in
to
the
do.
world. There's a lot to do, a lot of opportunity, but we're just looking to fulfill. I like to say we're here to make the young adults' dreams come true.
Cool. Okay, we've got one last dish coming in. Somebody's got to tell me what it is, and then I'm going to ask a couple wrap-up questions because we do have to get moving. So Scarlett, are you able to describe this dish for us?
This is like my favorite of the whole entire restaurant.
Okay, hit us. What you got?
This is the Danny's Brown Derby. It's tri-tip and celery root mashed potatoes on a pretzel roll, and then it has our home fries and a French onion dressing on it, and the au jus sauce with it too.
Yeah, looks great. Okay, so before we wrap this up, I want 3 basic things. How can people get involved? Number 1, if they want to support. Number 2, if they want to come and work here and do it. And number 3, if they want to eat here.
Wonderful.
Or get
Well,
catering.
thank you so much for asking, because those are all such important questions about, how we come alive to the community, right? How we bloom. So we do look for sponsorships to help uplift our youth and keep them employed. So sponsorships of any denomination is always welcomed. You can also go onto our website and make a donation. So our website is www.thebloomingBistro.com, plain and simple, the Blooming Bistro. Any referral, I encourage for anybody to just actually walk through the door if they are interested in learning more about how they can be a part of the Blooming Bistro. They can go to Employee NV and ask to be referred, or through any organization that might be listening that serves young adults. Please, I encourage you to get in touch with me. Please come into the bistro. Let's talk. The bistro is located right in the middle, the heart of Las Vegas, as Charleston and Rancho, and we are open from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. We also offer office party platters and catering.
Awesome.
So we can do smallest to largest, whatever it is, and can arrange whatever needs are, and anything that anybody does to support us, whether it's visiting us for one of our delicious dishes, seeing the young adult smiles, and our catering, all is a part of helping us bloom, and most importantly, making our young adults' dreams come true.
Scarlett, I'm going to ask you to wrap this up for us. What would your message be to any young person who might be relatively new to recovery, or maybe they've been in it a while, but they're looking for that next phase? What would you tell them about this place and whether they should consider it?
To consider this place, or like just in general?
To consider the Blooming Bistro and the program and the restaurant hospitality, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who, have gotten their shit together, basically, for lack of a better way of putting it, and are still floating around maybe a little unanchored, right? Don't know which direction they're going to be going in next. You seem to have found a direction here. What would you tell other people? Is this a good place to come and find direction, and why?
Yeah, it definitely is. My first thing was I had to be open-minded, because I have anxiety, and this isn't my kind of thing. I'm not a people person most of the time, but my biggest thing is being open-minded and having willingness to just try and get out there. So I think this was a big help for me, because they put us through training and they did all that, and it was just very I got a lot of more experience. And I think my biggest thing was just being open-minded and just taking the leap and just trying.
Cool. Well, thank you all. I got food in my mouth
Yeah,
still.
no, that's wonderful.
We're
You know,
gonna-
without Mark's training, they at least have that to build
That's
from,
amazing.
Yeah.
right? Because if you come into a restaurant, sorry, it's really important that I say this, we don't just have them start blindsided,
Yeah.
right? Like Mark's training is everything into getting some sort of comfortability into the restaurant business and hospitality. Saying hello, how are you? Welcome to the Blooming Bistro, right?
Cool. Well, thank you. And you kept it compact, not like at the ribbon cuttings. That was a hell of a speech at the ribbon cutting. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Thank you guys so much. It's really, really
Thank
great
you
to
for
be in
being
here.
and thank you for sharing the message of hope.
We've got the news coming up next, as well as our happy hour report. That's probably inappropriate right now. This is Food and Loathing.
By now you know about Neon Feast, the app that serves up Las Vegas restaurant recommendations, not from self-appointed influencers hustling for free meals or flame from disgruntled diners. Neon Feast gives you suggestions based on our conversations with Vegas restaurant pros, the chefs, managers, owners, writers, bloggers, and others who make this industry great. What kind of food do you want? What part of the valley? How much to spend? What's the occasion? Ask Neon Feast and get the answers. Also check for restaurant news and in-depth features at Neon News. We have you covered with the Neon Feast app and neonfeast.com. And for restaurant news you can use, neonnews.vegas.
And we are back with another happy hour report here on Food and Loathing with our happy hour expert, Andrew Morgan of happyhourvegas.com. Today, we promised last week, today we're going to talk Italian restaurants, man. I know a lot of Italian restaurants call it their aperitivo hour. I know the one out of Brezza has a different name that I can't even remember. But, you know, there's some fancy names for an Italian happy hour. But at the root, they're all happy hours. So which are your favorite?
Yeah, so aperitivo is absolutely right. If you think about Italian food, and not to give everyone a history lesson or go down the, San Gennaro Feast Festival here, it can go in so many different ways, right? Are we talking about pizza? Which incidentally, that's where Al and I met at the Pizza Fest, and there was 6 million different guys, selling pizzas and stuff like that. It could be northern, it could be coastal, it could be Sicilian, whatever it is. So it's really got to pick your sweet spot there. But at the end of the day, we really appreciate all the nonas in the world that gave us this amazing food, and then all the restaurateurs and the people that put these together for happy hours for us. So lots to choose from, and yes, there are about 40 aperitivos across the valley. All with their own unique take on meatballs, pizza, the spritz, and what have you. So my favorite, my go-to, I'll tell you, let's start with that one. It's a relatively new player on the scene, Ciao Vino.
I love Ciao Vino, man. And, one of the first new creations from Huckle Hospitality Group, who, of course, are big players right now. It's over in Boca Park. It's got a beautiful bar, small bar, but a beautiful bar. And how's their happy hour?
Happy hour is fantastic. I wouldn't be sitting here wasting your time if I didn't think so. And, yes, it's at the bar area. But you know what? They recently expanded to the whole room. So you can have happy hour, sit down. You can have now the weather's nice. They got the outdoor patio open up, which is actually pretty huge. They got the pizza oven out there and everything like that. So it's pretty good. Why I liked Ciao Vino, why I love it, obviously location is great and the vibe is cool. Chef Joel, he came to us from Osteria, and Vitri's kitchen experience. I just think he puts some things together really well, and he's riffing off a little bit of Osteria and the Northern Italian vibe, but he's got his own flair and put it in there. I'll give you an example. They've got the 3 pasta sampler kind of thing, and just different types of pasta, different flavors, all in this happy hour, paired with an exceptionally great, Sangiovese. That's a happy hour right there. That will make you happy beyond belief.
So price-wise, what are they doing? What are the bargains that we're getting there?
Yeah, so this is where you're thinking you're paying through the nose on this stuff, but it's actually exceptional. Really good. So you're talking like $10, $12 and under, average. And then for wine, a cocktail also $9, $12. So definitely in the sweet spot of a good deal for great food.
Okay, that's one Italian. We got time for one more, and then I'm going to also throw out my favorite real quick. But what's your next favorite Italian happy hour?
So I have my. Actually, I want to hear yours, Al. You tell me.
Okay, for me, you go to Vetri Cucina at the top of the Palms. There's not a lot on the menu. It's relatively inexpensive, but it is a way to get in there and see one of the most gorgeous, gorgeous rooms in all of Las Vegas at a price that everybody can afford, even if you can't afford to eat there.
Yeah. You know what? So it's funny because I'm riffing off of that one. Vitri Cucina at the Palms is a great one. It's the sister restaurant to Osteria Fiorella at Red Rock Casino, which is also one of my favorite ones as well. And it doesn't hurt that some of the people there have been going there for a long time. They're good to me. So my experience has always just been very, very positive. But I will tell you, the kitchen and the bar is amazing. Like it's hard to replicate is what I'm saying. So, the meatballs there, first of all. I think it's Sal's meatballs that they call them there, but whatever. It's just like you're getting 3 big balls for $8.
Oh man!
You get your spritz or you get your glass of vino. You make sure you say hi to the bar manager Adrian, and he will take care of you. I'm telling you, that's a happy hour that'll make you happy all day long.
Yeah, from recovery to happy hour, man.
Oh,
We're
my
having
God.
a hell of a week this week, Gemini. Did you see that they just brought some dessert over to the table? I guess you
Yeah.
can't miss it. It smells delicious. Mark, I know you're off in the background. What are we eating here? Just yell at us here. Put you plug in the microphone.
Yeah, this looks great. I barely made it to your table, but here it is. It's a house-made banana bread pudding. Pineapple bread pudding, ginger ice cream, and sprinkled with cinnamon on top, and kind of caramelized pieces of pineapple on there as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be eating that during the news
And I'm still
after
digging
this.
into like pasta and
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
it's all fantastic. So anyway, time for the news. And we touched briefly last week on Chef Bruce Kallman of Soul Belly Barbecue and his involvement with the Midtown Las Vegas real estate project, including the Pepper Club in the English Hotel. Gemini was actually there eating.
Yep.
You can go back a week. You'll get the report on that. You may recall, I mentioned at the time that Bruce was keeping a little quiet about it, but the info was published on the Pepper Club website, so I fucking talked about it a little.
Yep.
But I was wondering when I get a chance to speak to Bruce. Well, CityCast Rob Cashel-Reese beat me to it. You can read his interview with Bruce on the topic at lasvegas.citycast.fm. And what else we got? You can find out a little more in person, actually, if you're interested in what Bruce is doing over there. Today, as this podcast drops, and by that I mean Friday, April 25th, at 2 p.m., there will be a groundbreaking ceremony for the Midtown Project, followed by tours of their model residences.
Oh, cool.
I'm hoping to be there, or at least have one of us there, and we'll see what else we can learn. Next up, remember the Love Yourself Foundation, or LYF?
Yeah.
It's an organization dedicated to making sure people in the hospitality and entertainment industries get the proper mental health care to avoid the kinds of suicides, addictions, other tragedies that often come from attempting to self-medicate for the issues that they face in those industries. Of course, that problem is not limited to those industries, but
Right.
the industries that we're talking about, restaurants and shows, right, and basically being a performer or being hospitality, they have unique circumstances that need to be addressed, and that's what Life is trying to do. They have a day full of activities coming up in June at the Beverly Theater, and I sat down with LYF founder Monica Garcia to get the lowdown and find out how you can help support their mission.
So it's June 7th. It starts at 10:30 in the morning. It is an earlier event, but it'll run until 4 o'clock. And we're going to be showcasing a film screening of a documentary that we're featured in, produced by a local filmmaker, Joel Martinez. And the documentary features the organization, the Love Yourself Foundation, but a lot of focus on our new program, the I Am Love program, that would be supporting artists and hospitality workers with their mental health. We're going to have a mental health panel with different mental health leaders in the community. Among them on the panel is Gary Lamore with Honest Hospitality. And we're going to have vendors, we'll have an open mic, featured artists, silent auction, and some live painting that day.
And then what day of the week is that?
So June 7th, it's a Saturday.
Okay. So is this like an all-day event?
So 10:30 to 4.
So you mentioned this documentary that's coming out. If anybody isn't going to be able to make it down on the 7th to check that out, could you give me the title, tell me a bit more about it, who created it, and what the point of the documentary is really?
Yes, so once this airs, we will have it available online for people to see it. But it is called I Am Love. So focusing on the new program that we've created. The documentary features our journey as an organization, as a very grassroots org, but how we were led to create this program, the I Am Love program. The program was created also in memory of a friend of mine who passed to suicide back in September of 2021. He was a local frontman of a band, and the MC of a band, and one of his songs was titled I Am. And the chorus is I am love, I am peace, I am joy. And so in memory of him, we're calling the program the I Am Love program to honor his life, his legacy, and at the same time, helping others with their mental health.
In the year or so since you did the last one of these, and you and I spoke just prior to that, how has the community's attitude towards mental health and the need to address mental health in both the entertainment and the hospitality communities, how has it evolved? How has it changed?
I think more and more. It's just growing. I think people are becoming more open to the idea of mental health support. I'm feeling a lot more receptivity toward it. So I do feel like anytime I mention this new effort, this new program that we've created, I see people's faces light up. I see that sometimes people will then accompany their reaction maybe with a story of their own, of somebody that they might have lost to suicide. So it always seems to me that we are hitting a need in humanity. I think it's not just exclusive to Las Vegas, but I think as humans as a whole and what we're experiencing at this point in society.
Okay, so I know you're looking for some sponsors, I think both for the Beverly Theater event and for the program as a whole. So, I got some rich people listening to me out there. I think they want to do something good with their lives. So what can people do to encourage this?
Yeah, so we do have right now a fundraiser that we're looking for event sponsors, so we can make sure we get all that covered. And then in addition to that, we do have a fundraiser specifically to help fund the I Am Love program. So all of those are currently through the platform GiveButter, and I can definitely give you the links to all of that.
And now, if somebody actually wants to be a sponsor, what kind of numbers are we talking about?
I mean, for the event sponsorship, it could be as low as $1 to as high as $1,000. So just really depending on people's capacity. Now, specifically for the I Am Love program, my goal is I would love for us to get a pilot running this year. And for that, I would need at least, so we can hire, let's just say, a team of 5 mental health providers, so we can start building a caseload for these individuals. And the idea is that it's going to be telehealth, so that way we can increase access to mental health. A lot of times, because of people's busy schedules, they may not be able to run across town for an appointment, so we're wanting to make this telehealth, so not only is it easier on the provider, but definitely on the participant to receive the support that they need.
Hey, and one of my all-time favorite restaurants, like whenever people say, what's your favorite restaurant now, right? Which I hate. But
I do too, because there's too many to list.
I mean, it depends what mood I'm in, right?
Right, and they're all different. You can't really compare them.
I know, like, how do you compare? I mean, how you like, I love this cheesesteak place, but then I also like Robuchon,
right.
Which is better, Little fucking ridiculous. But when people ask me what's your favorite restaurant, I tell them I don't have a favorite, but if money were no object, the place that I would keep going back to and probably go once a month if I could fucking afford it is the Tellier de Joël Robuchon.
Oh, I'd go with you.
At the MGM Grand. It's the more casual of the 2 Robuchon restaurants.
Yep.
It's just a really fun place that if you haven't been there, Joël Robuchon's main restaurant is like you're sitting in the Palace of Versailles, and this is like you're sitting in a hip Tokyo bar.
Yeah.
It's like it's red and black. The bar wraps around the kitchen. You watch them do all the tweezer work on your food, which is so much fun. You talk to strangers sitting next to you. There's mood lighting. There's stage lighting. The bartenders chat with you. The chefs talk with you. So I love that restaurant. It's just fucking amazing. And they are going to be hosting an exquisite champagne pairing dinner on Thursday, May 8th. And it's going to feature 5 cuvées. What are cuvées? You're the wine person. How do you pronounce that word?
Cuvée.
Cuvée. Okay, from the renowned champagne house, Tattinger. The menu is going to include a meticulously crafted 9-course Champagne Tattinger seasonal discovery menu. That's a lot of words. Expertly curated by the Atelier de Joël Robuchon's executive chef, Anthony Taormina. The menu is priced at $580 a person, plus tax and gratuity. Reservations now available, and they can be made at MGM Grand online.
Ooh, I'm going to have to reach out to some friends and family. My birthday's coming up.
Who wants to buy me something expensive
Hey,
for my
it's a big
birthday?
Ferraro's Ristorante is inviting guests to an exclusive wine dinner featuring Tuscan winemaker Il Boro on Wednesday, May 14th at 6 p.m. Wine enthusiasts are invited to experience an extraordinary evening centered on Il Boro's prestigious collection, paired perfectly with a curated multi-course menu from executive chef Mimo Ferraro. Attending the event will also be Salvatore Ferragamo, owner of Il Boro and the president of the iconic Italian fashion house bearing his name. And they just told
Ferragamo shoe guy?
Yes.
The Ferragamo shoe guy?
Reach in my bag. My wallet is Ferragamo. Like, I love this so much. And we were talking about Ferragamo shoes on Saturday night with some people. I don't remember how that came
Are those
up.
the shoes OJ called ugly-ass shoes?
Probably. And they're always super thin for people with very thin feet. But the fact that you're talking about Mimo Ferraro's food, this winery, and the fashion stuff, like, I might just have to go and have my head explode.
Yeah, you didn't have an orgasm right there at the table,
So
I
some
think.
of the good stuff there is going to be red Sicilian shrimp with burrata and cucumber. They're going to have a salad with jumbo lump crab. There's going to be porcini pasta and a lamb fillet. So it's an all-exclusive experience. Tickets are $175 a person, plus tax and gratuity. Space is limited.
That's a good fucking deal,
Oh, my God, right?
Yeah.
So make a reservation and just call Ferraro's. You can look them up online as well, 702-364-5300.
Does anybody really need to know phone numbers anymore?
Probably not,
Should
but
ask the
that's
young person.
That was all the info they gave
Do
for
you guys
making
know
the
phone numbers
reservation.
in your generation? Yeah, you
Right.
just look it up, right? Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have to read them ever.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got next?
Well, El Dorado Cantina, this is just a quick reminder of stuff that they do. They're ramping up their Taco Tuesdays, and that's every Tuesday, every location. They're now offering Don Julio 1942 at only $6 a shot. And with that, you can get a $5 street taco. Wow. And if you've eaten it at El Dorado Cantina, you know they can be a little pricey, but the food is good. So take advantage of Taco Tuesday. Why not?
I should mention, I was just writing about El Dorado Cantina's, their main location on Sammy Davis. LVCVA has me doing a story on things to do for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
So look for that at visitlasvegas.com.
We'll link to that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't taken a bite of this dessert yet. Tell another story.
Get into the dessert. Firefly Tapas is hosting its infamous paella party on May 4th. Some people have called it paella on the patio. Just picture this: warm patio vibes, a glass of sangria in hand, and Chef John Simmons throwing down serious paella magic, live and in person. That's right, it's dinner and a show. Nibble on tasty tapas while you watch Chef John work his magic, wine glass never far from reach, and because we love to share the love and the food, they're going to send you home with your very own paella kit, plus a tapas recipe booklet to keep the party going in your own kitchen. There's 2 ways to do this. You can keep it classic. You get the class, the kit, the past tapas. That's $60, tax and tip included. You can go VIP, baby. That's the class, the kit, the past tapas, plus unlimited wine, sangria, and beer. And for reservations for that or more information, you can go to fireflylv.com/paella-party.
Or you could just Google it.
Or you can Google it too, because it is a banner on their main website.
That is about it for this week. This dessert's fucking great. I love the hot. I love the cold. Well, I guess it's time to thank everybody for having us, man. So thank you to our host, Samantha Steele, and to Mark Steele. And shout out your name again. I forgot.
Scarlett Turner.
Turner. That's I knew it was Scarlett. Scarlett Turner. Okay, cool. Thank you for hosting us. We had a fantastic time. Also, thanks to our guests, Tal Ronnen, Masaharu Morimoto, and Monica Garcia. I'm Al Mancini with Samantha, Gemini Stevens, and Rich Johnson, hoping that while your plate is always full, you always manage to stay hungry.